and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom, and this is going to be my November haul for Blu-rays and such. You might be thinking this is a little early to do this, but I actually bought a massive job lot of Blu-ray steelbooks from eBay, and it was like 60 steelbooks. I paid about £100 for it, and I quite frankly want to get them kind of put away. There's obviously quite a lot. So I thought I'd just do this early. I've only got kind of like 4 or 5 other things due to come for the rest of the month, so I just thought I might kind of like tie them into the December one, just to kind of get this video done. Now in that bundle I did trade some in and sell some to get kind of other things. I'll kind of go through the bits that weren't in the bundle because most of this this kind of update is going to be stuff from that particular bundle. But let's crack on. This is going to be my only DVD of the month, and this is the Miami Vice kind of remake DVD steelbook. I was actually talking to some people on a Facebook group, and one of them kind of got the original kind of series on you know, on a kind of box, and I was just kind of started thinking about it. I had a look around, see what was available for Miami Vice. I do like that, and I quite fancied watching the kind of the movie again. So it's not available on the Blu-ray steelbook, so I picked up a DVD steelbook. And the only steelbook I've got this month is an independent vampire movie that was made in 1997 and only now released on Blu-ray in 2019. This is V for Vampire, and it's kind of a cult, kind of very low budget movie that I got directly from SRS Cinema, and it comes with a poster which is in here, same kind of same picture that you've got here on the front here. The movie isn't very good, if I'm honest, but there you go. Anyway, let's go on to some steelbooks. I've kind of put them in somewhat of genre order, and the first one we're going to talk about is Conan the Barbarian. This is actually, I believe it was some type of European release, and it has Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer in it. I'm not normally a fan of buying films that have like multiple films in one package, but you can't get Conan the Barbarian on a steelbook format. This is the only way. So I kind of wanted to pick this up. There's actually 2 different steelbooks you can get that have both movies on. This one is I think the kind of the rarer of the 2 of them, and I actually picked this up for a pretty decent price on eBay. I just saw it kind of popped up, and you know, I picked it up pretty quick. Made an offer and they were accepted. This wasn't part of the bundle, this is something I bought separately. So I was pretty pleased to have that, because I do want to try and get every kind of Arnie film I can, at least one version on the steelbook. And if you can't get Conan the Destroyer separately, this is the next best thing. Sticking with kind of like historical fantasy movies, we have the Russell Crowe Robin Hood. This was part of the bundle, as a lot of these are going to be from now on. I actually saw this one. I didn't mind it. It's not certainly not a memorable movie, but it's not a badly made film. And most of these are going to be some type of European release. This one, I believe, is an English one. We also have Gladiator. As you can tell by the kind of the title of this, is not a English release. I have actually already got Gladiator, but it's got a different sleeve to that. So I've now double dipped on this one. I thought about trading this one in, but I do like Gladiator, so I don't mind kind of double dipping on it with a different kind of artwork there. Then I've got this Asian movie, Goemon. I have no idea what this is. This was part of the bundle. A lot of these movies I got from the bundle, I not really have much idea what they are. This is one of them, but it's quite a cool embossed kind of steelbook. Legend of Goemon. Has anyone kind of watched this movie? It looks like it's kind of one of these kind of epic kind of Asian sort of fantasy action movies, so it looks pretty decent. We have a German version of Legends of the Airbender. Never seen this one, probably never will, but there you go. We got one of the Hobbit movies. Again, this is part of the bundle, and I think this is the first movie, the first one. And I've actually got a couple of different Hobbit movie versions of this kind of release now. This, I believe, is a French one. As I believe this one is, but with a different cover. So there you go. Again, this was part of that bundle I was speaking about. Now we move on to some horror. This one was actually something I bought separately. This is the Elvira Mistress of the Dark Spanish metal pack. And this one is, I think it's a limited edition to 1600, as you can see here. If you're interested in this movie, it's available on Amazon Spain, Amazon ES. And I really like the kind of like the obvious thing here today, but I actually kind of quite like the background here. Looks like kind of 70s style kind of wallpaper embossing on it. I don't have the Elvira movie. It's quite heavily embossed. It's quite a nice release. They've done a few media books of this kind of movie, but I prefer a steelbook if I can get my hands on a steelbook, or in this case, a metal pack. We have the kind of superhero horror hybrid, Brightburn. This is the German release, so it's got the subtitle Son of Darkness. Now, apparently the British release was actually cut by a kind of a minute or so, whilst the German one is fully uncut. I wasn't aware of this when I actually bought it. I only bought the German release because I don't have a 4K player. I'm not interested in paying extra for 4K, but I'm not going to watch it. So sometimes the kind of like the European versions are cheaper because they're just on Blu-ray. You know, and I just want the kind of the steelbook to be honest. I don't care that it's a 4K or not. But just luckily, I ended up getting this German one, which was the uncut version compared to the British version. And thank you to Lee from Roasted Skulls for bringing that to my attention. This is part of that bundle I was speaking about, and this is a German version of the Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. And as you can see here, it has quite a funky magnetic lenticular cover to it. This is there's a 3D version, and it's a 3-disc edition. We have Shaun of the Dead. I actually already have this movie on steelbook, but it's a different cover. I believe this is a Canadian release, like this particular one, I want to say. There you go. So I have double dips on that one. Next up, we have the Resident Evil trilogy. I actually prefer the first movies in this kind of series. I kind of lost interest with the later ones, so I think they got progressively worse as the sort of the series went on. The initial ones, I think the first three, in my opinion, are the best. So they worked out quite well. And again, these are all ones from that bundle I was speaking about. And again, I Am Legends. I'm a really big fan of the original book of this movie. Now, I still don't think they've really done a kind of a proper adaptation of the book. They've always changed certain bits. The whole point of the title is always seems to be lost in the filmmakers. But it's an okay kind of like, you know, fairly kind of tame, kind of big budget horror movie with obviously Will Smith there. And this is one I got separately. This is the Warlock trilogy. So the first two movies you had Julian Sands, and the third one had Bruce Payne. I have seen all three of those. I don't really remember the third one, if I'm honest. I was considering getting a metal pack with just the original first movie on there, but this came out from Amazon, from Germany basically, and so I just thought, oh, I'll pick this up instead. It's kind of like you know, it's quite a nice design on the kind of the cover there. So yeah, this is all three films uncut in a German steelbook. And then we have a metal pack for 1408, starring John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. A pretty decent kind of like adaptation from I think it's a Stephen King book, I want to say. Yeah, it's a fairly decent movie. I think it's been a while since I've seen it. And you notice here that the metal packs, this is a metal pack rather than a steelbook, it's ever so slightly smaller than a steelbook, but they kind of rattle around in these cases a little bit compared to the steelbook, which are a bit more of a snug fit. And then we have a German Zombie Night 1 and 2. I think I have seen one of these Zombie Night movies. I'm sure I've reviewed one, but this was again part of that bundle, and a kind of B-movie zombie steelbook. What's not to love? Moving on to some sci-fi. This is classic era Doctor Who, Spearhead from Space, British Steelbook. This one wasn't part of the bundle, but I actually had bought this from a previous kind of lot that didn't have the discs in it. So I traded in some of the stuff from the bundle and then bought a kind of a second-hand copy, just a standard Blu-ray with the discs to put in here. So now I have the complete Steelbook. So there you go. And I got the Predators movie, obviously the third movie in the franchise. I still haven't got the fourth movie, the most recent one, nor do I have the Alien vs Predator movies, but I actually quite like this movie, to be honest with you. I don't massively love the Steelbook design, but I kind of wanted to get the movie and to go with the kind of the other two films that I have in the obviously the franchise, and we'll probably pick up the kind of the more recent one at some point as well, but I'll just pick it up when it gets cheaper at some point. This one I'm really pleased with. I actually got this from a Facebook group, and this is the original Predator, the 3D version. This is the German MediaMarkt exclusive. It's the same Steelbook as the British one, which I actually have, but as you can see here, it's got that kind of lenticular magnet on it, and that gives you that cool kind of like heat vision look, which I think it looks really cool, and I'm really happy. It's just one of these Blu-ray Steelbooks I've always wanted to get. I kind of like, oh, do you know what? Can I justify buying this more or less the same Steelbook again just for the lenticular sleeve? Hell yes I can. Here it is. We have Dragon Wars Steelbook. This is a kind of a fun B-movie, science fiction fantasy movie, also known as D-Wars. This one I just got cheap on eBay. It was just a few pounds, so I thought I'd pick it up. It's actually quite a fun movie and reasonably good CGI for a kind of a lower budget movie. We have Space Battleship Yamato, obviously based on an anime. This is a live action movie, however. This is a German release. This was actually part of the bundle I have spoken about previously. I have not seen this movie, and I suspect this is a Japanese film with a German release. I doubt it's got English audio, but there you go. This one will probably sit on the shelf and just look pretty. We have Pitch Black. I actually quite enjoy this movie. I do have it on the Steelbook, but I have like a landscape kind of version of it. So I'm actually pleased to get a portrait kind of artwork on it, because I much prefer them, to be honest. And then, in my opinion, this is the best out of the kind of the Riddick movies. So I was kind of quite pleased to get a decent version of that. But speaking of Riddick, I also picked up in the bundle this third movie, the extended cut with Vin Diesel. I actually haven't seen the second one, or at least all of it, so I should really kind of get around to watching it properly. I picked up this kind of this low budget kind of science fiction B movie. Now, I cannot remember the British name for it. I don't think it's called Mankind Down. I have reviewed this on the channel, though I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. Again, this was part of that bundle I've got. And there's a few films here that, to be honest with you, I don't actually know what they are. But yeah, I have reviewed this one. It was okay for a kind of a low budget kind of like science fiction kind of B movie. It might be called Mankind Down. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't actually ring a bell. But yeah, here it is on Steelbook. And I also picked up Snowpiercer. I actually had a Snowpiercer Steelbook some time ago, but I sold it on eBay, so I'm actually quite happy to pick one up again. This is actually a different Steelbook that I had previously, and is a pretty decent kind of science fiction movie with Chris Evans. And I think they've made it into a TV series, I want to say. So there you go, Snowpiercer. We have Serenity, which of course is the film finale to the kind of the TV show Firefly. Controversially, I did not like the Firefly TV show. I have tried to sit down and watch it twice, and I just can't get through any more than 2 episodes. I don't know why people love it so much. But anyway, this was part of that bundle, so I picked it up, and here it is, another sci-fi movie. Also, as part of that bundle, I got the Star Trek Next Generation Season 7 on a jumbo Steelbook. This is the only one in the bundle, so I have a random season of Star Trek on Steelbook now. You know, I'm not a big Trekkie, to be honest with you. I've only ever seen a few episodes here and there. And then finally for Sci-Fi, we have, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal in Source Code. Right, we're going to go over to some action. Again, this is all part of the bundle. Majority of this stuff. This is the Sherlock Holmes movie with, of course, Robert Downey Jr. You can't really see here, but this has a really cool PET plastic slipcase over this Steelbook. So I think it looks really good, actually, I've got to say. I haven't actually seen either of these movies today, but here now I own it on Steelbook. Boom. And there is the second movie on Steelbook. Now, on the subject of Steelbooks, I'm probably going to do my complete Steelbook collection on probably at the end of the year to show all of my Steelbooks. I'll probably wrap up the remainder of the year stuff in that video. So I will show off my entire Steelbook collection, probably in 2 parts at the end of the year or kind of the beginning of 2020. We got the Rambo First Blood Steelbook. This was a Zavvi exclusive, and again, this was part of the bundle I have spoken about. We have First Blood Part 2, or Rambo First Blood Part 2. Again, the Zavvi exclusive, and again, part of that bundle. And as you'd probably expect, Rambo 3, again a Zavvi exclusive, and again part of that bundle. But the person who I bought the bundle of was obviously a big Jason Statham fan. There's a few Jason Statham movies. First one we'll talk about is The Mechanic, which looks like a German release Steelbook. I cannot remember if I have seen this or not. I think I have, but there you go. We've got the Transporter 3, which I have seen and I do quite enjoy, I must admit. And then we've got Jason Statham in Safe, which I don't think I've seen, and a really kind of boring safe Steelbook, I must admit. We have the original Lethal Weapon on Steelbook. We have Lethal Weapon 2 on Steelbook. And Lethal Weapon 3 on Steelbook, which I think actually comes with the fourth movie as well. This one is actually sealed. We have Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. I have never seen the second part of the second movie. I wasn't overly fussed with the first one, to be honest with you. It's not one of my favourite Tarantino movies, and I just couldn't be bothered to watch the second one, but here it is as part of that bundle. Lords of War. This is a movie I've always quite fancied watching, but because I kind of have to review a lot, I end up kind of not seeing some of these older films. Now I own it, now I'll probably get a chance to check it out at some point. I do quite enjoy Nick Cage. I know he has his detractors, but I actually quite enjoy him. This was the real reason why I wanted to buy this bundle, because it's got a Taylor Lautner movie in it. This one I think is called Abduction in the UK, and this is a German Steelbook, and it looks like Lionsgate puts out a lot of these sort of style Steelbooks in Germany, because there's a few, I've got a few of them. And again, all these ones are part of the bundle. So there you go. This was part of the bundle called The Big Bang. I have never heard of this movie, but now I own this Steelbook. There you go. When I saw the listing, I thought it was The Big Bang Theory, but no, it looks like it's some straight to DVD actioner. Matt Damon in The Green Zone, which is a pretty decent movie. I remember watching this some time ago. Another Arnie movie, so I was pleased to pick this one up. This is part of that bundle. And Sabotage, a kind of a different style of. Arnie's a bit of an asshole in this movie. Yeah, but there you go. It's an interesting art film. John Woo Dark Stone. I've not really heard of this movie. Again, it looks like another kind of like historical fantasy kind of Chinese action film. Anyone seen this one? Anyone can recommend it? Another Matt Damon movie, Adjustment Bureau, with Emily Blunt as well. I don't know if I've seen this one or not, and then again, this was part of that bundle, so there you go. Russell Crowe, The Next 3 Days. I haven't seen this one. Again, this was part of that bundle, and as you can see here, it's got the kind of the non-English title there, so I really don't know about this movie. I have no idea anything about it, to be honest. Again, part of the bundle, this is Taken of Liam Neeson. I actually have a Taken steelbook, although it's a different one. I think this is the French one. But it's such a great movie. I'm happy to double dip on this one because it's so good. Such a great action movie. I'm happy to get a couple of different versions of that. Another movie I've never heard of, Kidnapping of Freddie Heineken. I'm not familiar with that particular Heineken, only another type. And yeah, again, part of the bundle. Have no idea what the movie is. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Again, I haven't seen this movie. I kind of gave up with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, to be honest with you. They kind of got worse as they kind of went on, and I've not seen this one, but again, part of the bundle, so there you go. I got the Fast and Furious, I think 1 to 5 box set. Again, a jumbo steelbook, part of that bundle. Yeah, there you go. And you know, a modern take on a classic tale. Again, I've not seen this one. This one I'm kind of interested in kind of watching. Carolinas. A couple of kids movies were included. Cars. This is something I'll never watch. The Emoji Movie, and again, I'll never watch this, but I actually kind of quite like the steelbook, I will say. I actually really like the very vibrant design of the steelbook. So, despite the fact that the film is probably absolutely rubbish, I still kind of like the steelbook. And then we have the Australian version of the Jungle Book, the live action one. I've not seen this. I actually wanted this at the cinema, but I never got round to it. So now I have the steelbook as part of that bundle. And then finally we have Marvel films, of course, and none of these were part of the bundle. These are ones I've all bought separately. The first one is the Zavvi Collector's version of the Spider-Man Far From Home. I nearly cancelled this because there's so many Far From Home steelbooks that are released. I thought, oh, can I? This was £75, and it was a bit like, it's a bit expensive. But I like the fact the artwork is some of the official artwork, and not just the kind of the crappy, like the artwork from the sticker decals that they've had in the previous two versions of these. So I kind of obviously pulled the trigger with it, but I don't know if I'll get any more of these, to be honest. I mean, the next movie that comes out is Black Widow, so unless that movie really kind of blows my socks off, I probably won't buy any more of these ones. As I mentioned, there are multiple steelbooks for Spider-Man Far From Home, and in fact there's a couple that I still have on pre-order that I haven't received yet. So this is one of them, and I think this is kind of like the most common one that you can get in the States and everything like that. And in the UK this wasn't actually released, so I got this one from I think France. I pre-ordered it from Amazon France. So I wanted to get the different designs, and yeah, so here it is. And this is the UK Zavvi version. There's also a HMV version, which I have yet to get, so that will probably be wrapped into the next thing I do. But this design is exclusive to the UK. As you can see here, it's got Tower Bridge here. And there's also a design for Germany and also a design for Brazil, all unique to those countries. So I have the German one on pre-order. Brazil, you've got to put some random social security number in the Amazon website, so I'm not doing that. I'll probably miss that one, to be fair. But there you go, that is the Zavvi British Steelbook, the 4K one, but forcing me to buy the 4K. I picked up the Mantelabs Deadpool lenticular cover here. This one I got it for a reasonable price, for a kind of a premium steelbook. I think this is one of the few Mantelabs ones that I've got, to be honest. I need 500 of these made, so there you go. Quite a fun design, but I don't really like these ones because it's just a standard steelbook with just kind of like an extra thing on it to charge you an extra 50 quid for. But this was opened one on eBay and it was cheaper than I've seen it before, so I thought I'd just pick it up. I picked up the Thor Ragnarok 4K steelbook from Zavvi, which has a really kind of nice kind of gold finish. Don't know how that would show up here. But I actually quite like that one. And a friend of mine went to the States and picked up the Best Buy 4K movies that aren't yet in the UK. These may well be released in the future, but at present you can't get them. So I don't know. When someone went to America, I got them to pick these up for me on the chance that they wouldn't get released in the UK. And it means I have to pay ridiculous eBay fees and imports and all of that. So that's the Guardians of the Galaxy one. And then we have Doctor Strange, which has a very kind of unique sleeve to it. The Guardians of the Galaxy one we've seen before, but this one is kind of unique, which is why I want this one kind of more out of any of the others. And then we have the Ant-Man, again the Best Buy 4K steelbook. This sleeve is kind of similar to the Blue Fans one, so that makes me kind of less fussed about getting the Blue Fans one, if I'm honest. And then the final thing from this update was the Avengers 1 and 2 steelbook from Zavvi. I got this through CX's website. I had traded in a couple of the steelbooks I had from the bundle that I really didn't want, and I got this. And sadly, it didn't come with a slipcase, which bothers me a little bit. But this is one of those kind of steelbooks I feel like I've got to get to complete the collection, but I'm really not that fussed with. So I just think I'll live with this one. Anyway, that is actually my my update for November. It being only the 13th of November while I'm filming this. So anything I get from this point on, I'll just wrap up into either December's update, or I'll just put them straight into my end of year complete steelbook video. Anyway, what do you think? What do you think of that bundle of stuff? Most of this stuff I got for that bundle cost me like 100 odd quid, and I got like 60 odd steelbooks. What did you think? Was it worth it? Any steelbooks there that kind of take your fancy, or anything else that I got outside of that? Give us a shout, let me know what you think, and of course if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.